News came that US President Joe Biden had raged at Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. And it wasn't a surprise considering the acts of Israeli military concerning aid supply and civilian casualty. But then, very soon came the U-turn. The White House clarified that the United States' support for Israel's defense remains ironclad, a term that we've heard over and over again. Now, this came despite President Joe Biden warning that Washington's policy on Gaza war depends on protecting civilians. National Security Council spokesman John Kirby told reporters, "Our support for Israel's self-defense remains ironclad. They face a range of threats, and the United States isn't going to walk away from helping Israel defend itself." Although US did make the right noises after the death of 6 foreign aid workers with nationalities ranging from UK, Australia, Poland and their own dual citizen, but now White House is making it clear that they are with Israel for the long run. While many hope that US could drum some sense into Israel that has been indulging in reckless targeting of civilians and aid workers, this statement from the White House is clear about America's intention. Support Israel even though it is bombing embassies and aid workers. Although one American man is telling Israel the truth, and that man is the ex-president and current presidential candidate hopeful, Donald Trump. Former President Donald Trump offered a tough message to Israel over its war against Hamas on Thursday, urging the country to get it over with. In an interview, Trump said that Israel is absolutely losing the PR war and called for a swift resolution to the bloodshed. He said, "Get it over with and let's get back to peace and stop killing people." They have to get it done, get it over with, and get it over with fast because you have to get back to normalcy and peace. That's probably the most direct and straightforward message. Stop killing people. Trump, who has earlier criticized President Joe Biden for being insufficiently supportive of Israel, also appeared to question the tactics of Israeli army as the civilian death toll in Gaza continues to mount. Since Hamas militants attacked Israel on October 7th, Israel's military has battered the territory, killing more than 30,000 Palestinians, according to the Gaza's health ministry, and creating a humanitarian catastrophe. Trump specifically criticized Israel's decision to release footage of its offensive actions. Throughout the war, the Israeli military has released videos of airstrikes and other attacks against what it describes as terrorist infrastructure. But Trump's keen business and political acumen is prompting him to advise them otherwise. Trump said they shouldn't be releasing tapes like that. That's why they're losing the PR war. Israel is absolutely losing the PR war. They're releasing the most heinous, most horrible tapes of buildings falling down. And people are imagining there's a lot of people in those buildings, and they don't like it. They're losing the PR war. They're losing it big. But they've got to finish what they started, and they've got to finish it fast. And we have to get on with life. The comments offered a vivid example of the attention Trump pays to imagery and optics as he measures the cost of war. But they also show the similarities between Trump's and Biden's positions, even as Trump has criticized Biden's handling of the conflict, going so far as to charge that Jews who vote for Democrats hate Israel and hate their religion. Until Thursday, Biden's administration had broadly backed Israeli efforts to try to remove Hamas's grip over Gaza, even as he called for a short-term ceasefire to free hostages and surge humanitarian aid. He had also expressed concern that Israel's operation was isolating it on the world stage. That concern has intensified since an Israeli airstrike this week killed 7 World Central Kitchen humanitarian aid workers who were trying to deliver food to Palestinians, adding a new layer of complication to Biden and Netanyahu's increasingly strained relationship. In a phone call on Thursday, Biden issued a stark new warning to Israel, telling Netanyahu that further US support for the war depends on new steps to protect civilians and aid workers. The White House said in a statement that Biden made clear the need for Israel to announce and implement a series of specific, concrete and measurable steps to address civilian harm, humanitarian suffering and the safety of aid workers. He also told Netanyahu that an immediate ceasefire is essential and urged Israel to reach a deal without delay. Then came the U-turn, and the White House released another statement to support Israel. Although the tougher stance comes as the administration continues to try to dissuade Israel from launching a major offensive against the southern Gaza city of Rafah, where more than 1 million civilians are sheltering. Biden had issued an unusually sharp statement after the workers' death, criticizing Israel for not doing more to protect humanitarian workers and civilians. Showing some willingness to listen to its biggest ally, Israel has decided to open 3 humanitarian aid corridors. The Erez crossing in northern Gaza, which has not been opened since the start of the conflict, will be opened now, and the port of Ashdod will be open for humanitarian deliveries, and aid trucks from Jordan will be allowed to traverse Israel into Gaza via the Kerem Shalom border crossing. But it took the killing of 7 aid workers and a WHO warning of an imminent famine for Israel to heed the pleadings of its indignant allies. Coming back to the Trump and Israel connect, Trump has long labeled himself as the most pro-Israel president in the nation's history, and often notes his decision to move the US Embassy to Jerusalem in public rallies. But Trump has also had a tense relationship with Netanyahu since he left the White House. Though the two were close allies for years, the former president responded with fury after the Israel leader congratulated then President-elect Biden for winning the 2020 election, while Trump was still trying to overturn the results. In interviews for a book about his Middle East peace efforts, Trump, according to the author, used an offensive word to describe Netanyahu, accused him of disloyalty, and said he believed the Israeli leader never really wanted to make peace. In the immediate aftermath of the October 7th attack by Hamas, Trump drew rare condemnation from his GOP rivals when he lashed out at Netanyahu, saying Israeli leaders needed to step up their game and that Netanyahu was not prepared for the deadly incursion. Do tell us what you think about this video in the comments section, and for more news updates, subscribe to India Today.